And we welcome everybody inside Bud Moore Lanes, where else but in Virginia. And this is the Stepladder final of another major on the PBA50 Tour, the Bud Moore PBA50 Players Championship with Tom Carter. I'm Dave Lamont. Tom doing a little double duty, so we have somebody special waiting in our other room here to join us in the middle of the first game. Tom, we had an unbelievable match play setup, and this field of five here is rich in titles.
It's amazing, and we got some new players too. And we got the reigning Masters champion, I call him Johnny Tat-Tat, Jon Rakoski, and we got a new player that is not unfamiliar to bowling on TV, but unfamiliar to the PBA50 Tour with 25 titles and 10 majors. Her very first appearance, Liz Johnson. And then we go into, obviously, our last year's Master champion, Rookie of the Year, John Janawicz, which that's going to be a tough match because he's got Chris Barnes, the guy, USBC PBA Hall of Famer. And then we got a guy that's got 3 majors and 1 major on the PBA50 Tour. They call him Major Mika for a reason, Mika Koivuniemi.
Yeah, it's hard to find a better stepladder possible, considering the quality of the field we had here. We had some unbelievable bowling, some biggest jumps. I think Chris made the biggest jump of the day, going from 12th to number 2.
Oh, Chris was shooting games of 270, 280, 290. It was amazing. And he literally came out of nowhere right up to the top of the ladder. It was amazing to watch.
And Jon Rakoski taking the last spot with just the last couple of shots. So it's going to be Jon Rakoski versus Liz Johnson in our first match. Stay tuned. All right, see you in a little bit.
Sounded good, Dave. Sounded good. Remember, your wine is on the other side of the screen. Yeah.
And the special guest I referred to is a man whose name is all over this building and also very closely affiliated with the charity of the PBA Tour and of this event. That's the great Hall of Famer, Johnny Petraglia. Johnny, thank you so much for taking a few minutes with us.
Thank you, Dave. It's just wonderful being here. And this is going to be a great event tonight. You really have a tremendous amount of talent that's out there on the lanes. I'm sure it's going to be a good show.
You ever bowled in somebody's house before?
No. I bowled here.
Yeah.
And when I did the grand opening.
Right.
But I haven't bowled here making a show. It's when you're visiting all the troops in the hospital, and you see how important it is.
I thought that looked like a good shot.
Yeah, at the I'm Vietnam vet, and so I know what they're going through. And ironically, when people are thinking about it, one great thing that the PBA is doing now is honoring a vet every week on the show. Mm-hmm. And what makes that so important, especially if they're older, is that what doesn't get talked about enough is that you get wounded in whatever we're in at the time. You end up in a VA hospital. At that point in time, everybody knows, they're going to take care of me. But what enters their head is, but I could be going home after this, but what happens to me when my parents are gone? Is everybody going to forget about me? And that's what we try to push more than anything. We will never be forgotten. That's the key. And once they learn that, they do feel a lot better. Great shot there.
Is it bvl.org? Is that the website?
Yeah, bvl.org.
Yeah,
very
so please
good.
donate.
Thank you, Dave.
Actually, there's available for a very reasonable price is a bowling ball of John autographed. So that might be good if you own a pro shop to have that as a memento for your pro shop. It's available at the bvl.org website. So we urge that you go look at that website and learn more about this organization.
Very nice. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for your service, John.
Yeah.
Well, Tom,
that girl is not going to miss at all.
She's not going to miss. She might get wrapped, but she's
and
not
the lanes
gonna
aren't
miss.
the same. The right lane is tighter than the left lane, but she's pretty much got the same reaction. Jon Rakoski leaned over to me and goes, "I can't win if she don't miss."
That's right. Yeah. That's what's great about our sport. It's you're competing against an enemy that you can't stop.
Yeah, it makes no difference who you're bowling against.
Right.
You got to figure out the lanes, knock down the pins.
Yeah. Slight miss there. But.
So now this could get interesting if John can finish this off the next couple of frames here.
John got a little quick on that 310. He just lost his footing a little bit. Probably seen that on video, but
and the second he let it go, he knew it was a bad shot.
Oh yeah,
and that was right away.
And that's really uncharacteristic of John. You never see him ever just do anything, and you wouldn't really know it because he doesn't have a lot of emotion.
No,
he keeps it close to the vest. Yeah, he's a poker player.
Yeah, he could have 100 opens or 100 strikes, and you wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
If that Liz at 209. And beautiful.
And he got it. Wow, that's big. So this he's in the 9th frame now, isn't he?
Yeah, that was the 9th right there.
That was the 9th frame.
Yeah,
because Liz is going to finish the game, right?
And I've got him at a high of 246. Is that his max?
Is that his
max?
Can
you read that, Tom?
You can tell.
Yeah, there'd be 246. Liz can have 259.
Right.
Right. So she could be forced to have to double, depending on what he does here in the
exactly.
Beautiful. John's throwing 2 different balls.
Wow.
He's 2 totally different layouts because we felt that the left lane just hooked that much more. So he's using the ball in the right lane, which picks up the mid lane a lot sooner. So it gives him that back end that he feels that he needs. And the ball he's using on the left lane with an envy tour is much cleaner down the lane and a little bit smoother on the back end. He's using the extreme envy on the right lane with a mass in his track.
In his track.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
And I think Liz is using
that was
an
a double dribble.
And it's a double in the 10th.
And he got away with it. And oddly enough, Liz is using the same layout on that. I believe it's an all road as his extreme envy.
Now, what is Liz going to need? A mark? 46. She's shooting at.
Well, she needs good count and a mark.
Yeah, good count and a mark. She's shooting 48 or 49.
She's shooting 49.
49, yeah.
And he can have 46.
46, right.
So.
And 45.
45.
Big pin. Yeah, very nice.
That one shot that he just got quick on, And, when you're bowling the caliber of people that are in this top 5, you can't afford a hiccup.
Mistake. You can't,
no, you've
can't
got
make a mistake.
3 reigning PBA 50 major holders, with Chris Barnes still to come. The PBA World 50 World Champion. Rakoski, of course, the Masters Champion. And JJ is coming up next, and he is the reigning Senior U.S. Open Champion.
And he's last year's Rookie of the Year, and he won the Masters. Been on Team USA for 10 years. And he is a
game.
There it is.
Wow, that's cash money.
This pattern plays right into her strong suit.
wheelhouse.
Oh, my God. It's unbelievable how well that her ball is like this pattern was made for her.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if Liz can play out and get that little bit of a tip in the back end, somewhere between 5 and 10, right around there.
So what do we have
she's
here?
Almost unbeatable. She's not going to throw anything bad.
If she goes off the sheet.
When she goes off the sheet, I think is the
well, she's going to go off the sheet.
Yeah.
59 to 45. That's a heck of an opening game we got here.
Liz Johnson's going to advance to take on John Janawicz.
Yeah, and Liz just picked up a different ball. Not that I think she's going to switch, but just in case.
And talking to her, she's not really into moving around a lot of equipment. She likes to stick to one thing, and so she might have picked up some intel for later on.
Okay.
So, kind of interesting. This is our 4th year, right?
4th year here, right?
Yeah. So, in 2021,
congratulations to Liz Johnson for winning the first
stats.
match. Also to Jon
Mitch Sachs
Rakoski.
beat
He'll finish
Dan
in
Knowlton,
5th place here
235.
at the Bud Moore PBA 50 Players Championship and go home with $4,000.
Pete Weber.
Right now, John Janawicz, the number 3 seed, is coming on.
Wow.
He'll
Last
get 8
year,
warm-up shots
Tom Hess
on the
beat
championship pair.
Chris Barnes.
We'll be right back with
198
match
to
number 2.
116.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yes.
So Chris Barnes is back this year to prove a point that was an absolute fluke.
Yes, it was. Before we continue with any more discussion, as we're waiting now for John Janawicz to warm up, we have a giveaway time. Brian's going to handle that in the chat. What do they need to do here? Get out of full screen mode, and then Brian will tell you what to do from that. So just make sure you're out of full screen mode for a BowlTV T-shirt. Yep, which we don't even have.
Right.
So you can have something. But so.
Dave, thanks so much for inviting me.
Well, my
here
pleasure, John.
and
it's wonderful
bringing
to
up
see you
BBL
again.
and do a
My
great
pleasure.
job as you're doing already.
Thank
I love
you so
in
much.
Your yellow jacket looks terrific.
It's hard to try to dress like Tom,
Take care,
but
buddy,
I gave it
Tom,
my
and,
best shot.
Happy birthday to your wife.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Hall of Famer John Petraglia joining us. You brought up a good point, Tom. The margin for error here is minuscule.
Oh.
John Rakoski had a lot of good shots. One that wasn't his best, and he paid for it.
Yeah, he got a little quick, got a little bit forward on that point of release with his body, and the ball just hooked up. He pulled it left, his shoulder rotated forward, and he knew it. Luckily, he picked it up, and I mean that was huge, you know. But now we're getting into the next couple that Janawicz doesn't make mistakes. Barnes definitely hasn't been making any mistakes.
Not lately.
No, and so it's just going to be a matter of I could see huge scores these next couple of games.
You know, everybody gets here early for this event. Some people got here as early as 4 Eastern time, and there's a lot to talk about. Plenty of people come in to talk. A lot of great conversations, some food, some frivolity. John Janawicz spent a lot of time working with equipment.
Oh my God!
To the nth degree, it was pretty interesting to watch.
Well, you know, he's a scientist to begin with when it comes to oil patterns, and he's got all these different layouts. And if you ever seen the back of his van, it looks like a moving pro shop. There has to be 80 balls in the back of that van, and there's stuff that you have never seen for years. He just hangs on to. It's just amazing.
At one point, Tom, I think you were doing some rep work. It was yesterday. In the middle of his match play, he walked out of the center with the one ball in hand while he's bowling. Went to his car and came back with a different ball and ended up using it.
He sees things. I mean, and maybe it's because he designs oil patterns all over the world. Sees a lot of different lane surfaces. He's really a student of the game. And I just think that he sees something that the average bear doesn't see and in ball motion. And I guess what's amazing to me, he's got so much equipment, how he remembers which ball is going to be the right one to pull out of that van.
As many of you know, John is a free agent contract-wise, so he could literally throw any bowling ball he wishes. And he's also a beloved figure on this tour, so he doesn't even have to ask. You know, people will do whatever they can to help him out. But I was watching him. He was fussing with the ball. He had tools. He was taking pieces out.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready for our second match here in the Stepladder Finals, the Budmore PBA50 Players Championship. Let me introduce you our number 3 seed right now from Winter Haven, Florida, 3 PBA50 national titles, as well as 5 regional championships. Last year, he was a PBA Rookie of the Year, winning the Masters and the Tournament of Champions. 10 times Team USA member, John Janawicz.
Number 1 ranked player on the PBA 50 tour this year. So
John, being the higher seed, has chosen to let Liz start the match, so she will throw one ball on lane 13 to start this second round of play in the match play finals, Stepladder Finals.
All right, there you go. You're caught up.
I just don't think it makes a difference who starts, him or her. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of missing going on.
Don't expect a lot of spare shooting.
You know, this surface, I was asking Johnny, and he had to go look it up, is actually, I thought it was just, 4 years old. It's actually 6 years old. So the lane surface, it's got some play on it, but it's nothing like the surface that we just came from at the other bowling center.
No. Would you rather bowl on a newer surface than an older surface? There's an advantage to that?
Well, the ball should never hook early on a newer surface, technically, because it's not wore down, as long as the pattern's done. The surface we came from, talking to the general manager over there, Dave, he said it was 31 years old. So that's a lot of play.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And realistically, the ball should get cleaner down the lane. And the lane probably shouldn't break down as much. I don't think we'll see a whole lot of transition, the guys getting crazy deep on the lane or doing anything bizarre, because there's just enough oil on the lane. It's 31 feet of oil, buffed to 38. It's the Wayne Webb pattern. I just don't see them getting deep. And actually on the tournament, it was a no re-oil tournament, what we call a burn squad.
Right.
And there was 3 squads, and nobody actually got hardly any deeper than, I want to say, 18 at the arrows for the most part. And the guys that scored real well were the ones that had great speed that could actually play a little straighter and stay to the right.
Well,
see, JJ's crossing, 15 out to 7. So he's trying to shape the ball way more than what obviously Liz is doing.
Chris Barnes awaits the winner, and the top of the step ladder is Mika Koivuniemi.
So we'll have to see if the scores in match 2 are anything close to in the previous years. In 2021, Brad Angelo shot 299 at Mitch Sachs's 238. So, and right now we got everybody starting with doubles, so we can make that 299. He's never had a 300 here yet.
We've had a couple of 299s today. In fact, Liz had one of them in match play. Not today, but the other day.
And for the most part, this is a high-scoring tournament. In 2022, Tommy Hess shot 268 to Michael Hoggins 208. And then last year, Troy Lynch shot 279 to Tommy Hess's 204. So the field is averaged the first year 242, then 239, and last year 221. So it's
a mistake.
Any of these patterns been high scoring. That has to be a commercial break. That can't be.
No, I think it actually happened live on TV.
Liz didn't actually just leave a 3-6.
But covered it.
Yep. Liz, I think, don't quote me on this because I might be wrong, but she bowled right next to me for 3 squads. And so we had 18 games of qualifying, and I think she had 1 missed spare in 18 games.
She was hardly ever splitting, too.
I don't think she hardly had an open.
Oh, JJ, I thought that was a flush.
Now we got a
hit.
match.
Yep.
The people sitting on the side of the lanes are trying to be so still.
Yes, they almost look like they're mannequins.
Yeah, I know.
They don't look like they're real. They look like those street performers who paint themselves up and then don't move.
Right. Chris Keene and Jim Storts are sitting off to the left there, and they were both looking straight over at the 2 guys to the right and just staring them down. Nobody was moving. John Janawicz with that unique.
That first step
setup.
kills me.
How do you like that hesitation step?
I compare it to a newborn colt. You never seen the video of a little new horse that takes that first step and it's like, is it okay? And yeah, it's okay. Of course, for him, it's timing.
It's all about timing.
Yep.
Oh, the bumpers just came up, and that's when Bill Moore is supposed to go out and throw a shot. That's
well, if John won this BVL Tournament of Champions in 2023, USBC Senior Masters, he actually has the Senior U.S. Open, so he just needs to get the PBA 50 Players Championship, and he'll have them all. And Liz is back to striking. We really do have a match here through 4.
279 to 278 if we take it off the sheet.
Don't be shocked if that happens.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Liz just, this is sad. She's a young 50. This is her first PBA 50 tournament.
Yeah, only been 50 since May.
I graduated high school the year she was born in 74.
Well, she's got quite a connection to the Moore family. Her parents go to the same church as the Moores do in Niagara Falls.
Oh.
That's the first big mistake from anyone today.
And that lane, the left lane, is the lane that hooks a little bit more. And, since she is so good at repeating shots, and Jon Rakoski was kind of playing the same line, they might have burned a little bit of a track in there, burn up that shot a little bit, and then starting to hook a little bit. And she didn't see it off the last shot, so she caught off guard.
So Janawicz looking for a 4th senior major. He hasn't had them all yet, but the World Championships are next week. So, and in that building, I think it was he, Tom Hess, Chris Barnes were in every final in that building at Jack 60. So
Janawicz throwing an ion, I believe, from what I could see here. I don't know if he's throwing the same ball on both lanes or not. But you watch John's facial expression as he comes off.
Mm-hmm.
He looks confused.
He's thinking.
Yes, but he still looks confused.
Now, this Tournament of Champions, of course, will be in Ohio in August. This is the Players' Championship.
I think he's throwing an Excel on the left lane. He could be throwing two different.
I think it was an ion he was working on feverishly before the show.
That was way right.
Out.
And this pattern, I believe, and it's not supposed to be, but 1, 2, 3 has a little bit of hang, and you get it out there too far, that's what's going to happen. You're just not getting back to the head pin.
Well, of course he's going to make it.
That's just your everyday spare for these guys.
Well, here's your lesson, bowling fans. This is how you shoot a washout.
The ball took them all out. I see guys try to always some cut across and hit the left side of the head pin and throw the head pin into the 610. But to me, it's a way better way to shoot it the way John just shot it. Hit the right side of the head pin and let the ball take out the 610.
Oh, and Liz not getting that. So
Liz's shot has, I think, kind of deteriorated.
What can she do?
I think she really needs to move left, I believe, in my opinion, because her angles are kind of straight and at the pocket, where you see John kind of giving it away a little bit. And she could change balls, but in a situation like this, you're bowling for a major, you're going to try to stay to your A game the best you can.
Right.
But when the lanes are kind of telling you something different, you can't be scared to make that move, not if you're going to get to the next match. And everybody's got, and you can see the Avalon pads down there. We had everything from 240 to 2,000 down there, depending on what guys thought that they might need to get the ball starting up.
That's more like it for Liz, a badly needed strike. She tries to stay in this match.
She can best out at 236. John Janawicz looking at 254. John just never looks too excited about anything, does he?
He keeps it to him. He doesn't lack expression, but he just has that image of the professor out there.
It's like he's analyzing everything that just happened.
Wait till the next match if he goes through.
Oh.
Speaking of analyzing things.
Oh, there's the analytical guy right there.
Holy smokes. Chris Barnes is walking through our studio here, getting ready for the next game.
Throw the ball, hit the pins.
If only it were that simple. We try to make it that simple on our shows. But
well, these guys make it look that easy.
Yeah. This is the lane he had trouble on last time. He makes a nice adjustment. A lot of traffic, but it's not going to go.
That almost, from my angle here on the monitor, almost looked like an 8-10. That would not have been healthy. Now his best shot is at 234. She can go off the sheet for 236.
Well.
So far in the tournament, we've seen a lot of urethane go down the lane. Here we have not.
Why do you think that is?
Excuse me. Friction.
Okay.
The players are getting to use bigger equipment. I will say, though, Chris Barnes might come out and throw that U78 because I've seen that ball go down the lane several times. So I shouldn't say they won't throw it, but odds are they probably will not.
I didn't see him throw it much in warm-up, if at all, but it doesn't mean he won't.
Uh-oh. Somebody's just dropped something.
I think that was in an area behind where the bowlers can't hear it.
Yeah, they got the glass doors closed.
Yeah,
so Liz Johnson's best is 216. John Janawicz, 234.
So John can shut her out when he gets up. Wow.
She didn't act like she liked that off of her hand very well. And there might be a little bit of pressure. Obviously, she's got 25 titles, 10 majors. She's been on TV a bazillion times.
Yep.
I can't say that pressure is probably getting to her, but maybe a little bit. This is the PBA50 Tour. She's the newbie out here, and it's not like she's got anything to prove because we all know that she's going to be a force to be reckoned with when she comes out. And this is her only tournament she's bowling. This swing we got obviously next week in Jackson, Michigan.
Yeah. She has a PWBA. She's actually trying to get into the top 50 PWBA to be eligible for the Players Championship. And then she has some other tournaments to bowl in, maybe she wants to live some life a little bit. But I asked her about the Tournament of Champions because I think as a PBA champion she would be eligible.
Yeah, she's not going
to. She's not going to make it.
She's not going to make it. But next year, though, she said that we would see a lot more of her.
Good. And what does JJ need here? One more?
He just, a mark of some type. Best Liz can do is 205.
So
if he goes 9 out, that's 203. So he just needs some kind of 202. He needs a mark of some sort.
That's a mark.
That's what we call a mark.
So John Janawicz is going to move on and get closer to adding another major as he will be fattening his lead for the #1 overall position, too, on the PBA 50 Tour, with the PBA 50 World Series of Bowling #2 coming up starting Monday on BowlTV with Pro-Am on Sunday night.
Well, his next 2 opponents aren't going to be a walk in the park.
I've heard of them. They have a few major championships also.
John Janawicz basically just cruising to 230. And this is, to me, would be experiment time. Pick up a different ball.
Oh, he will.
Throw something.
Yeah,
He's got a different ball in his hand. There you
was,
go.
That was automatic.
Yeah.
And the only other thing that would have been an automatic is if he had left a single pin and then missed it on purpose while he lined himself up for another shot.
Right.
That is about as guaranteed as you and I needing air to breathe to stay alive.
Oh, by the way, I like. We got to get you an ABC emblem on that jacket.
That was the whole point. Yeah.
You got the Chris Schinkel look going on right there.
Well, that was the idea behind this jacket. I'm going to wear this a few of these televised finals. I got to try to keep up with you. Yep.
Well, I got to find me one of those jackets.
It's a major commercial store, and I actually found it in person instead of online. We found it online, but then it doesn't fit. So we happen to have this store, national clothing store, chain store in our neighborhood, and it's still active, department store. So found it. Had it altered.
I need to go online and see if they got one in short fat boy size.
Well, they had it in husky for me. So yes.
Liz, hopefully taking it off the sheet for 205, respectable in her first PBA 50 debut.
Yep, she'll get 4th place.
Ended up in 4th, and at one point of the tournament, she was the tournament leader. I mean, she was just kind of walking on everybody. And she's leaving tonight to go to Delaware for regional.
Yeah, I was going to say, get the car warmed up.
Tournament finished up in 3rd place. 4th place will get $5,000 for her efforts, and she will meet our John Janawicz will advance to meet our #2 seed, Mr. Chris Barnes. Both Chris and our #1 seed, Mika Koivuniemi, will get practice shots. Mika will get 4 shots on the championship pair, and Chris will get 8 shots on that championship pair.
So while they do that, Tom and I will just take a short pause, and action will resume in a couple of moments here on BowlTV. We've got 2 matches to go before we crown our PBA 50 Players Champion. Chris Barnes versus John Janawicz. Talk about a meeting of the minds here. Literally. I mean, we're going to be able to hear these guys think.
Well, you're definitely going to see the expression on their faces, and there's going to be a lot of thinking going on. Both of them are very analytical. Chris says, all you got to do is just pick up the ball and throw it. Well, yeah, okay.
Well, he's not wrong, but we also know that he's just kidding.
And both of those guys, and well, all the players did it. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but they're going to really be paying attention to how they're playing the lanes and what ball they're using and the moves that they're making.
And let's face it, a year ago, this wasn't Chris's finest hour. A 116 and a loss to Tom Hess. Chris hasn't forgotten. No way he was going to forget. So I think there's a little bit of that on his mind today. May not be thinking about it when he's bowling, but just getting back to the finals. And plus, as he said to me earlier, he kind of feels like he's playing with house money. He was 12th when he rolled out of bed this morning to get to although he was starting to come on again in the double burn yesterday, and just comes out and blazes through the field to get from 12th to 2nd.
Well, he struck forever this afternoon. It was, I think, load game was like 258, and there was 280s, and it was just amazing to watch. But what I just watched right there on the video, and I said he might be throwing it, was that red ball. Did you see it go down the lane?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's a possibility that ball could come into play.
I expect everything to happen here. I wouldn't be surprised if John ran up the stairs, ran to his car, and brought 4 more bowling balls down just because he thinks one of them might be good for one
He might have
shot.
sent somebody in the elevator to go get him.
That's true. There is an elevator here, which is very helpful for us and for taking down equipment and bringing it back up. But this is going to be a fascinating match with Mika Koivuniemi waiting the winner for the championship. It would be Mika's first PBA 50 win since 2018. And not because he's not good, it's because he hasn't been here.
Yeah, he was still coaching overseas, and now he's here for good. And he says he's going to bowl a lot of tournaments. So if he bowls a lot of tournaments, that's just one less cash spot for some of us mere mortals.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You picked up something this tournament, didn't you? How are you feeling, by the way? Tell people should know how you've had about 70 surgeries since last year.
Oh, let's just not think about that.
You're rolling it pretty well, though. I thought you had a good tournament.
I did. I felt I'm getting used to my arm swing after having my shoulder replaced. Things are a little bit different, and it's terrible to say, but I've kind of used the PBA50 tour as practice, and that's not probably the smartest thing to do. You should probably go home and practice and then come out. But I kind of done it bass backwards, and so. But yeah, the things are good. I just hope I can keep going. My hip gave me a little bit of a problem.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, ready for the third match here in the Stepladder Finals, the Bud Moore PBA 50 Players Championship here at Bud Moore Lanes. I'd like to introduce you to our number 2 seed from Denton, Texas. This gentleman has 19 national PBA titles as well as 5 PBA 50 national crowns. 34 regional championships, 1998 PBA Tour Rookie of the Year, 2008 PBA Tour Bowler of the Year, and in 2023, the PBA 50 World Championship, a member of the PBA and USBC Hall of Fame, Chris Barnes.
He is the higher seed.
So last year in this match, if the scores stay the same.
Okay. Chris has decided that he's going to start this match. He'll bowl one frame on lane 13, and then John will start on lane 14.
Yeah, last year it was Troy Lint and Bill Rowe who went at it, 268, 215. Pete Weber was the number 1 seed. Pete did not bowl at all in this event, out with an injury. So the scores picked up is Tom's point. So let's see what happens here.
Yeah, if the scores go up, and looking at the years past, the first year was 257, 204. And then the second year was 236 to 245. So this game here seems to be the highest scoring game.
See what happens. See that ball in his hand?
Red ball pocket. Uh-oh.
Okay.
So he has chosen to firm it up and keep it on line. I watched him in that match he shot. I think it was 279. He was throwing the ball 18.83. I mean, I don't care who you are. That's fast. And most senior players can't keep that kind of speed up.
Right.
The only other one that might be able to keep it up would be Tom Hess. He's a big boy, too.
Tom is a big, strong player, no doubt about it.
I mean, the people that come to mind that could do it would be John Burkett, Hess, and Barnes.
Bob Smith, maybe?
Who?
Maximum Bob?
Oh, yeah, Bob could. But we don't see him out here that often.
No, he started out, bowled a bunch of events early, but hasn't been seen lately. But I think he probably could step into it when necessary.
Well, actually, Liz Johnson throws the ball harder than most of the senior players. It's a true story. The nice thing the guys don't have to worry about here in Bill's house is, like in every bowling center, we always have to deal with humidity and synthetic approaches.
All
and
sorts
sticking.
of things. Doors opening in and out, people coming in and out of the building.
The weather
changing
outside
the
and the whole 9 yards.
Yep. Weather outside, by the way, is ideal for this area.
And here we don't have to worry about that. At least we know that they're going to slide. They're not going to face plant. Nobody's going to get hurt.
John taking that ball out. Is he going to go work on it while Chris bowls?
Well, John is throwing a U-78 at his spares, a urethane ball, but Chris has chosen to throw a urethane ball for his first shot.
Yep, he stayed with it on the right lane. We've already seen Jon Rakoski break out a 2 bowling ball strategy. That looks high.
Yeah, that was left off of his hand. There is a hang spot on the right lane at 1, 2, 3. I mean, going down the lane parallel to the gutter, you don't notice it as much, but there, and I know Chris knows about it. If he swings the ball and hits that down lane, it's going to wiggle and it's not going to make the head pin. So maybe he got a little touching on, I don't want to get it out there, but then he cut it short and right through the face.
Took a run at it, but an early mistake for Chris. But it's an early mistake, so there's definitely time to catch back up.
Well, a player of his caliber, I mean, it happens to all of us, but you get a player of that caliber, when they make a mistake like that, they get so frustrated with himself. That he's like,
he does. There's no doubt about it.
Can't believe I just did that.
And he probably can't believe he just did that as he...
Yeah, he's standing, shrugged his shoulders like, how come that should have hooked? It didn't hook.
Now,
see, this could be a speed thing since he's throwing it so firm, much firmer than the other players.
Right.
He could throw it right through the break point down lane.
So what's the first solution? Slow down or change equipment?
Well, you can do both of those, obviously. I would have thought personally that he would have changed equipment and kind of moved in off of what the first couple of matches created.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they kind of opened up the shot a little bit, I think, and I don't think he's taken advantage of it. I do believe that JJ is going to take advantage of it. He's going to arc the ball more. In the first matches, JJ was crossing almost 15 at the arrows, taking it out to like 7 down lane.
Chris with 5 all-time PBA 50 titles, including, of course, the PBA World Championship last year. John with 4, and 3 of them are majors. Perfect.
JJ is obviously crossing way more boards. He sees the lane different now. And I've alluded to this week after week, show after show. It sounds redundant, but you take a guy that does nothing but oil lanes, design patterns for tournaments all over the world. He knows the oils. He knows the machines. He's got a doggone good idea what's going to happen, you know, and he understands the lane surface. And I always think he's like 2 steps ahead of everybody else when it comes to oil breakdown and lane breakdown. Then it just comes down to a matter if he executes.
Right now he is. 3 in a row for John Janawicz.
I would think about every player out there that's competitive would love to know what John knows about lane oil patterns.
Well, there is, and I've heard about it. I haven't watched it, but apparently it's a pretty well-known video among bowlers of John talking about how to read a lane pattern. Chris flushes.
Well, you can read the lane pattern, true, but then you got to understand the surface you're bowling on to create what's going to happen to that pattern, how it's going to break down. What's the surface? Is it pro-anvilene? Is it HPL 9000? You know, is it an overlay? Is it wood? Yeah, what are we bowling on? How old is it? He's sticking with that U78 on the left lane. Kind of surprising.
So what would be, should he slow it down a little bit then?
I think he's got to slow it down just a touch to get it read. And this was the hooking lane too.
Right.
The left lane, and he even said the left lane's moving a little bit more. And it looks at 8-10.
No way.
And he fired that just down 8. So I can't say it any other way. It is the wrong ball in the wrong part of the lane.
Well, there's the evidence is staring everyone right in the face here.
And unfortunately, I think the Bud Moore Classic, Bill Moore's 2 lanes have got Chris's number.
Well, the good news is I don't think he's headed for 116 here, but
that ball went down there quick.
Yeah.
Oh,
he
it almost
got
bounced
that off
out.
the bounce. Yep.
Yeah, he doesn't have speed monitors up there, but that thing had to go down there 20-some mile an hour.
That was over 20. It had to be. He would get a ticket in a school zone for a ball like that.
Yeah, guess I never thought of it that way.
It's only 15 in the school zone. You know who would never get a ticket in the school zone? Pete Weber.
Because he would never be in
he
one?
He wouldn't get to 15. Ringer for Janawicz.
Janawicz looked like he thought that was going to strike.
I think he always thinks he's going to strike. And if the evidence is that he often does, when you win as much as he has won. I mean, he's 4 titles since he joined last year. His first event was the 2023 USBC Senior Masters, which is a hard tournament to win. He won it.
I think that's one of the hardest tournaments to win.
I mean, and it goes for the USBC Masters too, the younger version of it, because it's such an unpredictable event.
Well, yeah, to me, it's like a horse race. You got 3 games, and anybody can get hot for a couple games. And if you stutter just a little bit, you're behind the 8 ball.
Yep. And the match play format, you might run into the hottest guy in the building at the worst time, regardless of whether he's the 35th seed or the 3rd seed.
Well, it's happened to a bunch of guys. You run into a guy and he shoots, I don't know, 750, 770 at you, and his next match he shoots 540.
Yep. Oh, a trip.
He trips out the old 9, just rolls it out. We got a lot of JJs out here. You got Jack Jurek, and you got Janawicz, you got Jeff Johnson.
Yep.
You got to get them all on the same pair, and it'd be easy to get.
I don't know why that hasn't happened yet on the squad. I know sometimes the PGA of America will take some liberties when they put together pairings or trios for the PGA Championship. They might put 3 guys who don't like each other together, or they'll put past champions together or something like that. But I don't know why we don't have it on JJ.
He's sticking with that red ball. That's
well, I don't doubt he's got a game plan he wants to stick with. I'd love to know why he's sticking with it.
Right, and it's good to have a game plan, and it's good to commit to the game plan that you have decided to do.
Right.
But right now, when you're 40 pins down, I don't know if the game plan is working.
Well, it's the Bjorn Borg analogy. Bjorn Borg got tired of losing at Wimbledon, so he started to rush the net instead of play back, and he won 5 straight Wimbledons. Changed his game completely because he knew it would never work being a baseliner at that tournament. He could be a baseliner at other tournaments, but not that one, and it worked.
And he did change balls.
And he didn't get the break that JJ got.
Yeah, he didn't get the love that JJ got in taking out that 9-pin.
So the odds are starting to stack up against Chris. He's trying to pick up his 6th PBA 50
right now,
title.
He's just shooting, if he strikes out, 206.
Yeah. He's going to need help.
Yeah, that's not a good place to be right now.
No.
And it's almost to the point here, after that shot, you can see a little bit of frustration kind of building.
Well, it doesn't help that your opponent has a great look, has been living in the pocket in this game, and trips a 9-pin on his last shot.
Yeah, some people might think that he got a lucky shot, but I'm not so sure that I believe in luck. I mean, if you roll the ball well, the pins dance for you, and you get the breaks. You know, when you think you're rolling the ball well, but you actually aren't, that's when people get upset and mad, and then they're frying inside because they think they got ripped off.
Yeah.
They can't carry. I can't strike. You know, John just keeps such a demeanor. It's unbelievable. Just ho-hum.
You can go off the sheet for 269. And John.
Okay,
268 won it in Game 3 last year with Troy Lint, whom I hope is watching and resting that bum knee for next year.
Oh, he almost looked like he had a 4-pin stand back up. Yeah, Troy, I mean, there's one extra check for people because Troy Lint is such an incredible bowler, and he's just got
ball change there.
Oh, ball change there, and
he again. Okay, come on now.
He's just thrown in the towel right now.
Yeah,
he's just going through the motions because he knows he can't win.
I don't know if he's talking to some of the fellow bowlers down there who are making up a lot of the spectators you can see, because they certainly understand every bowler's been through this.
Well, it just stinks when you've bowled so good this afternoon. I mean, incredibly well.
12th to 2nd.
To get to the show, because it didn't look like Chris was going to be on the show yesterday at all. And to get to this point and then just have the lane just chew you up. I mean, he's walking back before he balls off his hand. He's just trying to get out of the way right now. And the bumpers came up on 14. Commercial break. That's where Bill Moore is supposed to go out and throw a shot.
Well, Chris will take 3rd place. And he'll heading also, of course, to Jack's 60, where he has a title to defend there.
You driving there or are you flying?
No, I'm assuming that airplanes are actually in the air. I'm going to run home for a day, repack, launder up, and head there. I'll be there Sunday, day before.
We leave tomorrow, and it's a wonderful little 10-hour drive.
My brain can't handle that. I live in the Fort Lauderdale area, for those who don't know, and I can barely get to Orlando without wanting to jump in an airplane and go someplace. Not that air travel is the greatest thing in the world, but man, I just don't have the patience for those 10-hour drives.
You get to see more of the country when you're on the ground driving. You get to see all the sights that you're missing.
100,000 gas stations and
and the
burger joints
and the corn rows.
Yeah. I'm good. I've done some driving in my life.
JJ just going through the motions. I think we're going to try different balls. We're going to experiment because the big match is the next match against Mika.
Wow, all right. So you've got John Janawicz and Mika Koivuniemi, Major Mika.
Yeah, Mika comes back to bowl. And what's his first tournament that he's leading? A major.
Yeah, he's dabbled a little bit on the PBA50, but this is a little bit more than dabbling. And I believe he's going to be at the World Series. It's in his home state of Michigan.
Yeah, he's going to be there.
Yeah.
He's on Turbo staff, and I'm good friends with Dave Bernhardt. And Dave said that he's going to bowl the rest of them this season, which is good for him, bad for us. I'm going to, after this match is over, go out and talk to JJ and
of course,
find out what he sees and what he's thinking.
Absolutely. Look forward to that. We'll take a quick break also as we're literally going through the getting this match over in an unusual style, having these guys trade like this. But everybody understands.
269, so we got a new, third game new high.
Well, Chris earned this spot into the Stepladder finals. It didn't go his way this time, but he does pick up 3rd place.
Checks are good.
Checks are very good.
So Mika will get to come in and take his 8 shots, I believe he gets.
Yeah, he does. So
congratulations to John Janawicz advancing to our championship match. Also to Chris Barnes for a great tournament. Chris will finish in the 3rd spot and with $7,000 earnings. Mika Koivuniemi, our number 1 seed, will come to the championship pair, and he'll get 10 warm-up shots on the championship pair. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are down to the final match of the Bud Moore PBA 50 Players Championship, one of our major tournaments. We got some major talent here in this final match. I'd like to introduce you to our number 1 seed right now from Heartland, Michigan, Traverse City, Michigan. 14 national PBA titles, 1 PBA 50 national crown, 8 regional championships to go with that. He's nicknamed Major Mika for a reason. He's got these 3 majors, the U.S. Open, the Masters, and the Tournament of Champions. Of those, he got the 2018 Senior U.S. Open, also USBC and PBA Hall of Fame, Mika Koivuniemi.
There's just way too many letters in that last name.
Some people would say there's way too many titles.
Like
the people he beat.
Frame on lane 13, and John will follow suit by throwing his first frame on lane 14. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your championship match.
Well, last year the championship match went 236-11.
Pete Weber over Troy Lint.
The year before, Dave Johnson over Tommy Hess, 223-222. And the first year, John Marcella, 255 over 226. So what's the over-under on this match?
Winning score? Wow.
Yeah, what's the winning score?
255, 236, 223. I'll say 235 would be my number.
Somebody out there in BowlTV land has got to have the right number.
And Mika in 3-6-10 on the first shot. That one may have been a little bit too far inside when he let it go.
Well, his last practice shot, he left a 10 pin. So he must have made a little bit of an adjustment. And now we got the 3-6-10.
Mika, 2018, he won the PBA Senior U.S. Open. So he has 4 major titles in his career, 3 on the Kids Tour.
Uh-oh.
Look out. An unexpected gaffe by Mika Koivuniemi.
Well, I guess if you're going to have an open, that's probably the best place to have it. We still shoot 279.
Yeah, but I'm not giving this guy any gifts if I can help it. Not right now. Not the way he's bowled for 2 years.
It's just an unfair advantage bowling against JJ.
He figures it out, and he executes. Can't make it any simpler than that. Like we said.
Oh, hum.
Yeah. And he's very matter-of-fact about, as you've seen.
He's throwing the ion on both lanes. He's telling me. I went out there and talked to him. He's got the right lane a couple boards tighter than the left. He says he's just trying to shape the ball and watching down lane motion. And obviously he's pretty good at that.
How he manages his nerves also is something we don't really talk about much. We always talk about, his ability to think through his problems and all that, but in order to keep making these shows and going through the match play and winning is also a testament to the mental game as far as managing his emotions and managing his stress levels.
Well, that got way out there, down lane, and made it back.
Yeah, I was going to say, it just about did.
That is the hooking lane, granted, but I didn't expect it to peel off the back end quite like that. But to answer your question, I think you can attribute a lot of that to his years on Team USA. I mean, they've got, Dr. Dean Hennitz. He's one of the what I want to call psychological mind guys.
Yeah.
And to keep you in the right frame of mind. And I think, with 10 years on Team USA, you're kind of trained, I would think, a little bit on how to think and how to control those emotions so you can stay in the moment so your mind doesn't get thinking 4 frames ahead or three frames back where you left it open. You got to. The only shot that counts is the one that's in your hand right now, because you can't do anything about the past, you can't fix it, and we haven't got to the future yet. So make the shot that's in your hand.
That's more like it for Mika after the open frame of the first. the big fin with the big backswing.
Well, yeah, after that first shot, he probably said a few words in Flemish, and we never heard him.
Yep.
He's got a unique jersey on, and all those little squares, and there's writing on those little squares. But you got to have really good glasses to read it. But his daughter makes candles, and those are the names of the candles.
He's got that jersey in a variety of colors as well, but the heart of the jersey, so it's just the sleeves and the collar change colors, but the heart of that jersey stays the same. So
it's really a unique jersey.
Took a lot of time.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
All right, so he's doubled.
Okay, so now we have a match.
Threw a much better shot than he did on the first one.
I think he just made that adjustment off of that very last shot that he threw where he left that 10-pin. Said, all right, I got to make a little bit of a move. And then probably didn't pure it as well as he wanted to.
Or normally does.
And 3-6-10. Which we always say there's, about 2 ways to pick that up and 900 ways to miss it.
Oh, it's not a very popular date to the prom. No, no.
It's a unique saying. I like that.
And the first, okay, then. I was about to say the first real problem for Janawicz, but he got a back tap on the 2 to get out of that.
It was tough to see. But was that the same ball, the eye on it just went down the lane?
He disappeared from our screen for a minute, and we'll have to wait till his next shot to see if he uses that ball
unless that ball
again.
comes back and I can get a glimpse of it. I can't get a glimpse of it.
Well, he picks it up.
Kind of looked like a phase 2.
Well, he may have gone to his equipment and made a change. He's kind of wondering about where that ball is also. By the way, a victory here for Janawicz makes him PBA Hall of Fame eligible.
His second year on tour.
I know.
Second year on.
Yeah, they've given him 5.
But doesn't he have to be on tour 10 years? Isn't there a year?
Isn't
there a year?
Well, that note was passed to me, so I'd have to look into that. That may be right.
And he's only been out here 2 years.
Now I don't know.
And if he wins,
how much time? He really didn't spend much time on the kids tour at all. Right? But he would have 5 PBA 50s. Is my point. As far as service eligibility, that I have to look into.
It's just to watch him walk back, and he's looking at the balls on the rack going, I wonder if.
Yeah, I'm sure. Or he's looking at it going, no, not now. Maybe later. Maybe later, guys, but not now. He's a fascinating character to watch ball. He really is.
That ball Mika's throwing, at the glance, and I'm probably speaking out of turn here, but it looked like, out of bounds, like a 3-inch pin, a ball that was just going to roll up and not be crazy on the back end, so he can control the lane.
Possibly more finished cursing after that shot.
We know the right lane's tighter.
Right.
We know if we miss right, the ball's never going to hook, and voila. And that can happen if you get too aggressive. But if you watch Mika, he gets the ball out on the lane, and people say, well, Mika lofts the ball. And I don't call what he does loft it.
Okay.
I call it projection. He projects it into the lane on a downward angle. It's not like it's up in the air and plops onto the lane. He injects the ball into the lane, which allows the ball cleaner through the front and store more energy on the back. It reads the lane better. And a lot of that could be due to the fact that he's like 8 feet tall and got long arms,
Big backswing. He might be a little shorter than 8 feet tall, but, on your screens right now, depending on the size of your device.
He might be taller than you.
Let's find out if he wins the tournament.
Yeah,
I'll be doing the interview. He'll come out. I think we're pretty darn close. I'm 6'2" and 6'2.5" if I'm having a good night's sleep.
Well, I'm not even close to any of those numbers. Brian Kane and I added together don't really come up to your height.
You haven't met my family yet. Well, you've seen my wife, so
I think she's taller than you.
we're the same height.
She puts on heels. She's taller than you.
She doesn't need heels. You haven't seen our children.
They got to be tall.
They are.
That is a phase 2. Ball change.
Yep.
So he went from an asymmetrical ball to a symmetrical ball. Doesn't look like it has a ton of surface on it, so he's wanting something to be a little bit cleaner and smoother on the back end.
Like that.
Sure.
Well, it's just, yeah, here we go. Take one more look.
Still playing the same part of the lane, just with a different ball. Something a little cleaner.
That's why the guy carries all those bowling balls. So he's got one for whatever is the occasion. I remember seeing that. I think last year in Florida, he'd gone out to his car for something. Maybe it might, he opened the door up, and I looked. I just happened to be outside looking at. Oh my goodness!
You better have some doggone good shocks on that thing, because that thing is loaded to literally.
Think of the
to the
fuel
roof.
economy he's losing. That one got out of bounds on him.
That was probably the biggest mistake that we've seen JJ make. 2-4-8-10, pickable, but not something you want to leave. Not against Mika.
No, that's a bit of a count monster too, even though he's off the double. And he's going to leave a door open for a man who wants to beat you and sell you some candles.
Odds are he's just going to get 3. If he picks it up, more power to him. But I would assume that he's going to get the 3 anyway. Definitely get the count. He's going for it, and only got.
Did he get any?
None.
No, I didn't think he did. I didn't hear anything happen. He blocked our view, but I didn't hear a thing. So a huge error there by Janawicz.
I would have lost my entire savings to say that he was at least going to get
he
something.
gambled. I assume his game plan was to try to be aggressive, and that does happen sometimes when you go after a difficult split.
But he went for it.
Yep. Well, speaking of,
when you have 3 strikes, that's count. 3,
yeah, that's what
3
I
is
said.
6.
The count is bad. Yeah, that's
he gave away a bunch of pins. And Mika goes, thank you for those bunch of pins.
Yeah, he'll take them and stuff those in his back pocket. Much better shot than when he almost lost it too far right on this lane last time.
I just don't think you can get the ball out to 4-5 on the right lane. So now we have a new leader in the clubhouse.
Yeah, Janawicz is max, 227?
256.
For Mika.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a significant swing. And yeah, hey, look who made the mistake early was Koivuniemi. And now Janawicz makes a mistake in mid-game. He liked it.
Yeah.
You could tell. He was starting to moonwalk.
So John Janawicz with 107 in the 6th. Mika with, assuming he picks up the spare, 125, 18-pin swing. I think everybody remembers that 10-pin.
Yep.
That Mika missed. I think it was the Tournament of Champions.
Tournament of Champions are the Open, one of them against Norm.
For $100,000 was first.
And a major championship, and he had a 10-pin. All he had to do was make it, and he wins, and Norm Duke wins sitting on the bench.
I asked Mika about that the other day, and he goes, he said he just squeezed the ball, and he never got it off his thumb.
Uh-oh. There's a sleeper back there, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, another count shot. Of course, he's off of a open frame, but still, something's happened here now to John Janawicz.
Somebody has just upset the apple cart here. That's the ion. It looks like he might be going back to that because the phase 2 just rolled back off of the ball return.
Now he's running out of frames here.
Yeah,
He's got a very difficult shot.
10. That's just no good. So here we got a situation. We know the lane is tight, down lane on the right lane. But we know on this spare you got to get it to the right so the ball kind of hooks back and takes out the back pin. This is a trick shot now.
Yeah, this is hard. I mean, this is one where you actually wish the 6-pin were in there, right?
Unless you can throw a backup ball.
Going to curve it? Or he's going to do that?
Oh, look at that.
He's going to throw a deadly accurate shot.
Well, who didn't know that? We didn't until it just happened.
That's hard. I mean, that's a real skill level there. But still, Mika has control as Janawicz is searching for something in his equipment collection. He's going to try to get him back into this match, but he's also going to need Mika's assistance.
John Janawicz, 217 possible, 235 for Mika.
Yeah, Mika's not known for giving out a helping hand at this point in the match.
Well, John definitely needs, and he's sticking with that phase 2. So that ball was in. Oh, my God. That was like 18, 19, it looked like at the arrows from my angle. I'm wondering if he's guessing his decision of switching balls.
Well, he needs help if he's going to. First off, obviously, he can't make any more mistakes, but I'm not even sure striking out is going to help him.
Well, if Mika pulls this out, has 3 majors on the kids tour, 2 majors on the PBA50, like he just wins majors.
Well, it will only be his second PBA50 title, only. But, only.
Yeah, and both of them are majors.
Yeah, both of them are majors, U.S. Open in this one. He'll join, if he hangs on here, he'll join a long list of 2-time winners on the PBA50 tour. But remember, he hasn't been doing this till this year. Been coaching overseas. Guy's won in 21 countries, says Mika.
Man, I see that door starting to close.
Yeah, I think so too. He would, among the 2-time winners are people like Mark Roth, Carmen Salvino, Brian Voss, among some of the greats of all time on the PBA50 tour back in the early days. And among those who are active bowlers, Jason Couch, Troy Lint, Jack Jurek, John Marsala, Jon Rakoski, 2-time winners.
Look at that. There you go.
Charlie Tapp. There's quite a list of great bowlers who are 2-time champs, and
there's a guy there. Where'd he go? George Pappas.
Yeah.
But I just seen him. I thought.
Big shot here from Mika.
Oh no.
Well, is the lead too big to really hurt him, or let's see here.
So 264. 173 possible, 203, 30, 60, 80, 206. He's got to at least get the 2.
Okay. Well, this is doable for a high-level pro. Let's fly the 2 into the 10, ball wipes the 4 out. We'll see what happens.
There, Henry Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Henry Gonzalez had a nickname of Stop and Go. And that kind of reminds me of John Janawicz. John Janawicz starts, stops, then goes.
That lines him up. He said that's all about timing with him. Big shot here from Mika.
Big. Did he get it?
No, he did not get it.
He got 2. So he's got 173 in the 9th, possible 203. Janawicz stepping up to the plate. Definitely needs 3, the next 3 strikes and count.
This would be insane if he pulled this out. But we have genuine suspense, not high-scoring suspense. I hope you took the under on my pick of 235. But we have massive suspense. What ball is he using is one issue, because that's been an issue.
Did he change again? No, that's still a phase 2.
Okay. Oh, that looked like a good one.
Oh, boy.
Whoa.
Ball game has just changed.
Again.
So he can go 165. 195 is the best he can do if he strikes out, which does force Mika to have to double.
Oh, yeah. This is far from over. Good luck trying to figure this one out, because unless Janawicz just takes it off the sheet, which
he's on the hook and lane,
95,
and he split on that lane.
but he can't lock Mika out.
No
matter what he does here, Mika would have, if he strikes out, Mika would have to double.
John, 65, 195. He can force John to have to double. John just goes, or Mika goes spare strike. That's 193. Things are going to get real quiet, and they just did.
They just did in an area behind the door where it's been kind of, party atmosphere. I think they all understand now what's going on.
Unbelievable how quiet it just got.
Flush for Janawicz. That's the first hit he needs.
My God, you could have heard a pin drop in this place, couldn't you?
Well, I heard 10.
Well, even if he doesn't double here, Mika still has to mark.
Yes.
In order to win.
It would be more interesting for our selfish purposes if he strikes out, make Mika double for the drama of it all. Because I'm sure Mika could double.
First place check, $20,000.
20 grand. Yes, sir. And a major championship.
That looked like 19-8, and there's the double.
Now they're getting rowdy in there again.
Well, JJ obviously figured out something, because obviously being lost for 2 frames kind of, and at 6 count, then at 9 spare.
I know. Look at how unbalanced his score sheet looks. At the very beginning, you think, oh, he's going to run away with this because Mika made a mistake early.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, now you think, oh, Mika's going to lock him down, and that's it. And now John off the deck throwing punches again after taking a standing 8 count.
That's flush.
That's a 195 for Janawicz. Mika's going to need to double and 3 to win.
Well, if he gets the double, I'm pretty sure he's going to get 3.
I like it too, yeah.
I see the high hard one going right down the middle.
Well, this is the lane where he got into a little trouble going a little out of bounds. But that was a few frames ago. Since then, he struck on it twice. Must have this one before we even think about the second one.
That's high.
John Janawicz has done it again.
Unbelievable. PBA Hall of Fame eligible after winning another major.
His 4th major, his 5th PBA50 title, his 2nd major this year, his 3rd title this year. And that is an absolute hammerlock for the moment anyway on PBA50 Player of the Year. Unbelievable. John Janawicz has done it again. And Mika Koivuniemi will finish 2nd